And it's great that you've put the issue of dressing on the table, because a few years ago I was part of a campaign that still has
campaign.
people. Yeah.
We won't mention the
we
company.
won't mention the brand, but you know, and again, it's, were you naked? Were you not naked? First of all, even just looking at the pictures, my mother is the one who approved the final pictures. And the only reason I wanted that was because she was working on Mombasa Road, and she'd have to go past this billboard every single day. And I needed to know where she was with what she saw. And she said, you know what? This is beautiful. Anything else anyone sees is because of what's in their head.
Hey everybody, my name is Angie Murenga. You're watching Just Angie. It's Lifestyle Thursday, where we discuss all things to do with lifestyle, and I have the most amazing guest. I really love this woman and honor her so much. She brought out so much in me. She's gonna be surprised to hear that, but we're gonna have a conversation about lifestyle.
Yay!
So nice to have you, Sheila.
Hi.
It's so exciting to have you here. Thank you for agreeing to come.
For you, I will. You know,
really
it sounds like an old R&B hit
I
there,
know,
but
for you I will. We can do a song like that. It's true. But I really love you. And before I go into it, who is Sheila?
Sheila is a woman who's growing and learning, and just not making explanations anymore about where she's going and what she's doing, and just loving God and seeing God and loving her mom and her brother and her two little nieces. I'm just a Kenyan who's looking for more than what we've been told is what we should have.
That is so powerful.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing when we get to life, you know, because you're going to help a lot of even the young women, you know, because lots of people look up to you. Lots of people, and I think it's in God's design to make you a celebrity and somebody who is popular and they're drawn to. And then for them to hear that from you is very powerful. Because you see, a lot of our lives we spend trying to be somebody that we're not, trying to catch up. I almost feel like, you know, it's like there's a carrot on the end of the stick and we're just trying to get to it and we just never get there. And in that you lose yourself, lose who you are, lose your identity, lose your dreams, lose who you want to be, because the world keeps trying to define you.
Yes.
And that's a very powerful statement. How did you get there?
It wasn't an easy road. I didn't even know I was being bent and shaped and trying to be influenced into things that I was not even meant to be. It was, you know, I think to answer that question, I take you back to the beginning.
Okay,
being a girl in Pangani Girls High School.
Yes.
I was raised by 2 police officers, so we didn't grow up.
Really?
Yes, my mom and my dad, both of them polisi, utumishi kwa wote. And already from that start, you grew up around police lines, and they were serving in the presidential escort unit, so it was slightly better. But there's always this unspoken mtoto askari, where are you going to go? How far can you go with your life, you know? And the expression is tulilelewa na shida, which is true. We didn't have money, we didn't have much, but my mom understood, you know, for the places where I wish I could get to, the one thing I can give you is make sure you go to a good school. And so we went to this primary school. I remember it being so full of Asian children, and in any class you could count how many African children there were. And I think we'd be maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And back then it was High Ridge Primary School. Now you know it's something different, which always makes me sad. But the point is, Mom understood that for that next to happen, she had to make a sacrifice, and it meant, you know, trying to find extra funds. And luckily, back in the day, public schools were not public schools today. So we went to school with my brother, and we were exposed to these children who grew up in posh houses, who had different. We didn't have break. They'd come to school with break. Wow. What was that? We didn't know. And in growing up from that, going to Pangani, you meet judges' daughters, you meet pilots' daughters, you meet girls who've seen things you haven't, and you begin to imagine, what if I tried and worked a little harder? Maybe I could be, you know. And I look back now and I think the pressure to conform it's sometimes very quiet, and
very
sometimes
quiet.
it's very loud.
Yeah.
And when you're in an all-girls school where you're exposed to girls from every end,
Everyone,
not losing yourself and saying, I'm going to join the posh girls. You're not a posh girl, Sheila. You don't have stuff to tell them about these posh things you do over the weekend. But then in the same breath, you can't sit with the other girls who are from disadvantaged areas because you don't know what it's like to go and carry water on your back.
That's true. So you're somewhere in between.
In between. And God started saying, you could be either one, but you're here in the middle and I'm working on you to be something. It wasn't stated to me then. It's now when I look back that I can see it. And then you do well in school and you go to the University of Nairobi, and once again, you're seeing extremes of the have-it-alls.
And those who don't have as much.
And those that don't have as much.
In the middle.
And then there are those in the middle. And guess what? You're there in the middle. But because you're in campus, suddenly there's something that makes all of you almost equal. Because you're all getting boom. And you're all given an allowance. So it's up to you to decide what to do with your university. When boom ended, that's when the rubber met the road. Because then I started singing and to make some money so I could finish. Because here's my father, he never went to university. Here's my mom, didn't even get to high school. And I'm going to drop out in my second year.
You can't.
You can't. So it's you start working. Exactly. So I started working early, looking for commercials. A commercial became recording a song. I didn't want to be.
And that was Nikki.
Yeah.
I remember reading about Nikki.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't wake up and say, now I'm going to be a pop star. No, that was simply, I need to record a commercial. And the first commercial was Superloaf. Never say bread, say Superloaf.
But I loved Superloaf.
I still love Superloaf.
Yeah, it's
got me
available.
through school and things. It's still available. I had it this morning, the white one.
And I remember that song. Never love bread,
Yes.
love Superloaf.
There you go.
That was you.
And that was me, and it opened the door to a song because the producer said, you've got a singing voice. Yes, you'll do the commercials, but try this. And in becoming the singer, then the voices get louder. Maybe you should lose your weight. Maybe you should try and sound sexy on stage. Maybe you should bring up boys and, drape yourself on them. So, because I was a curtain raiser, I only had one song.
Really?
Yeah.
So you'd curtain raise for people?
So I'd curtain raise for Kalamashaka and Hardstone. Exactly. You're not the main act, but then there's also this, pressure of, you can do this. Why not get raunchy? Why not get... But you just know this is not who you are. It's not what you were brought up to be or where you're going. And then came the radio job. And I like to laugh. I laugh at my own jokes, Angie. I entertain myself.
You're amazing, even on TV. But so here comes radio.
Yeah, and then here comes radio. And you go on air being your absolutely vibrant, natural self, and you laugh at your own jokes. And sometimes people think it's hilarious too.
And sometimes people don't think it's all that hilarious.
Exactly, and others don't think it's hilarious. But then they'll still catch up with you tomorrow to see, now what is she laughing about again tomorrow?
Wow.
And there's always pressure of, why don't you sound like so-and-so? Why don't you be more this? Why don't you be more that? And the pressure to try and be something else, the older you get, the louder that pressure and those voices become. And had I not had that grounding, growing up with nothing, or not seeing both ends of the divide, I think caving in to being what people want you to be, it's like this.
It would have been easier.
Like
and
this.
It's so amazing, and especially for I think for anyone who is a celebrity in this nation, and maybe I can even say in Africa.
Yeah.
The pressure is so real.
It is.
The pressure is completely crazy.
It is.
I have never seen pressure like this. People will want to mold you and shape you into who you are not. And I think even in molding and shaping, they want you to become, it's almost like they wanted you to become what they cannot become. But they have these expectations of you. Yeah. You must be. They're not perfect, but they want a perfect role model or a perfect celebrity, Yeah. And they push you into serious corners. And I'm so grateful that that's how you started today, because the young women out there and the young men need to. And the pressure is not on the men, because every time I watch like an award show, the man is fully dressed, but the woman is half dressed. So I'm always like, how come this guy hasn't come into this pressure?
Right.
He's properly dressed. It's just fashionable.
Yeah.
There'll be a fashionable piece about it, but he's properly dressed. But then the woman is half dressed.
Right. And then it's a problem. And it's great that you've put the issue of dressing on the table, because a few years ago I was part of a campaign that still has campaign. People. Yeah.
We won't mention the company.
We won't mention the brand, but and again, were you naked? Were you not naked? First of all, even just looking at the pictures, my mother is the one who approved the final pictures. And the only reason I wanted that was because she was working on Mombasa Road and she'd have to go past this billboard every single day. And I needed to know where she was with what she saw. And she said, you know what, this is beautiful. Anything else anyone sees is because of what's in their head.
And you know, that's what's amazing, because we're going to stop there. For me, I never knew. I saw it. I never felt anything negative towards it, for real. I never did. it never, like, what was that? It never unsettled me. I didn't even make a judgment from it. I looked at it. I even loved the product because I was using the product. And that was it. But it's later that I found there was a lot of fanfare and conversation around it, you know?
I look back and I thank God I didn't cave into that pressure either. Because at some point, senior bosses at the place where I was working said to me, you know, how about we just go back to this client and tell them we'll refund them the money so they can take down the boards. And I said no, because in doing this campaign, it's not only just saying you don't have to be stick thin to be on a billboard. I think one of the things I loved about that campaign was saying, women like myself, I've never seen you on a billboard. You know, you can have a little extra curve here and there. I never saw that ever. And I thought to myself, one of the reasons I'm going to do this is so that young women, no matter what your skin color, whatever your body size and shape is, you can still make it up on that billboard without having to starve yourself, bleach yourself, become something that you're not. Celebrate whatever size or space you find yourself in. And I said to the bosses, I said, no, I'm not going to allow you to do that. If it means I have to lose my job, then so be it. But I want you to be aware that this same client is sponsoring my television. It was the first sponsor on our breakfast television show. Yes, it was the first client, and they were also sponsoring my radio show. And I said, so if you pull that down, you also take money out of your mouths. Are you ready for that? I never heard anything about it.
And I think that the thing is, you were bold for you. And you don't have to explain it.
And you don't have
to explain why you did it. You don't have to explain it. You were being bold for you.
And that's what sense.
Yes, it makes sense to you. And to whoever else it wanted to make sense to. It doesn't have to make sense to everyone. And I think that's a powerful place to live off. So whoever you are, young, old, male or female, you know, be bold and be you, and be ready to defend what you do and the decisions that you make. Because I love what Sheila just said. She was able to defend her position. So that's what you should do. And her mom approved it. I mean, moms. We love our mothers. I had no issues with the campaign, but everybody else does. And I think also think about why are you like that? Why is that how you come off? Why is that how the first reaction from you? You know, maybe critical, criticizing people, judging people, deciding why they're doing things. And I think the other thing that you would take away from today is be yourself. Honestly, you've got to get to a stage, and it happens sometimes with age, but we're asking you, we're giving you free information here. Find yourself at a very early age. Find out who you are, stick to that, and don't change like a chameleon changes its stripes and colors. Be who you are in every situation, and be consistent and be confident. Instead of it all coming to an end and then imploding, and then that's when you begin to find yourself. God bless you, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye.